Okay, Minister, I've just got another question concerning water. Now, I know that you'll say that this is an issue for Enritas, and I understand that. However, as the Minister for Resources, surely it does come into play when you're approving mine management plans and that kind of thing. The Alice Springs Water Supply Pollution Protection Study in 1983 says, since the Mereenie aquifer system acts as the sink for virtually all the waters moving in the study area, any contaminants introduced into the catchment area, either in surface water or groundwater, may reach the aquifer. So given that no government or company can realistically guarantee there is zero risk of radioactive materials migrating from an exploration or mine site, how do you respond to the Chief Minister's comments on October 6, 2008, that he was giving an absolute assurance that the environment would not be harmed?
I give you the same assurance that the environment will not be harmed, and that's what we're very, very strict about that one. We will not compromise. Because while the Minister of the Environment says the environmental impact, following the... Hold on.
Yep. We'll take questions from the floor later on, I'm sorry. Continue, Minister.
The company has to follow a number of steps that will reach a stage where we provide the mine management plan to us with all the information. If we are not happy with that mine management plan, that we're not going to protect the environment, it's not going to risk the water table, it's not going to risk the dust problems in Alice Springs, the mine management plan will not approve. No mine management plan, no mine.
Okay. Just, I guess, once we've got this guarantee, that's fine and we understand that, but what recourse does the Alice Springs community actually have if water does become contaminated?
The whole issue of supplying mine management plan is to provide to us a mechanism where this contamination will be prevented. If there is even the slightest risk, mine management plan will not be granted like it happened in other areas. Well, when Ranger was established, we did not have the requirements here in the territory or the department or the requirements for today. A lot of things that happened in the 70s and 80s would not have happened today.
But you haven't stopped it leaking 100,000 litres of water a day. Sorry, remind us.
Minister, I've just got some questions regarding the hazardous nature of transporting this material for our town. If a mine goes ahead, processing materials such as sulphuric acid and processed radioactive ore will be transported through Alice Springs. In 2006, the Chief Minister's Risk Management Department commissioned a report on the transport of dangerous and hazardous goods in the Northern Territory. Now, admittedly, this is not your department, so I'll expect that. Was the transport of radioactive materials dealt with specifically in this report? And if so, can you please outline the findings in relation to the capacity of emergency services to respond to an accident involving radioactive materials?
Quite rightly, you said this one is not under my jurisdiction. I have seen the final report yet. However, I have to say that a number of hazardous material are transported throughout the territory. However, for this material to be transported, they have to fulfill certain requirements. They have to have certain plans in place in case of an accident, and these plans have to be approved by the police and fire and emergency. If they're not just happening, there have to be plans in place for the transport, the safe transport of these fluids, solids, you name it, and it has to be approved by the police and fire and emergency.
A number of community stakeholder groups made submissions to that inquiry. Is the report going to be made public?
I can't comment for somebody else's portfolio, but I don't think it would be a top secret report, but again, it would be unfair for me to respond to somebody else's portfolio. I don't have much to say on that.
Okay. Would it be possible for someone to get back to us from Chief Ministers letting us know when that's going to be coming?
Yeah, we'll follow it up with the relevant ministers.
Thank you. Now, we have a very high level of staff turnover in Central Australia, which no doubt is similar in Darwin, although some of ours obviously go to you. In order to provide an emergency services response to radioactive material and other dangerous goods, such as the existing ore that's already being transported through the town from the Roxby Downs uranium mine, we need to have a highly trained, highly skilled and full complement of emergency services workers. Now we have a lot of faith in our service workers, but we are concerned that there is a high turnover. Can the government commit here that you'll be able to, at all times, provide a fully trained, full complement of emergency services workers who are capable of dealing with radioactive waste management spills?
All our fire and emergency personnel are highly trained. You only have to ask the policemen here, the firemen here, or the firewomen. And lately we had an accident in the downward wharf. The response was immediate with no any hazard to the environment. The government is committed to train all fire and emergency personnel. We're doing it, we'll continue to do it. Not because we're transporting dangerous material, but because we're committed to have a fully trained police, fire and emergency personnel in the Northern Territory.
Thank you.
I've just got a question about the social impacts. Now, Jimmy's already mentioned quite a few of those in his opening speech. So obviously a uranium project in the region will change the Alice Springs community. Would the government commit to a fully independent and transparent social impact assessment that includes traditional owners, environmental, health and other community stakeholders?
That's part of the process before the uranium license is granted. The social impact and economic impact and environmental impact are part of the assessment that's done and submitted to the governments, federal and territorial government, before an approval is given, and all decisions are taken into consideration before approval is given.
But that would be prepared by Cameco Paladin alone. Would they be necessarily obliged to involve local environmental, health and traditional owners? And
they have
community
to.
Stakeholders?
If you're doing a community and social impact, I mean, where are we going to do it? Who are you going to involve? They have to show that they actually involve local people. They have to speak to the local community. They have to speak to the local professionals, to everybody who's in the community. They may be affected by the operation of the mine.
And is there a particular reason why it can't be an independent assessment?
Well, Cameco Paladin or whoever decides to put the mine, they have to put their own proposal to the government. The government has always the opportunity to go around and ask questions themselves, and we've done it in the past and we'll do it again. But it will be the proposed miners' response to the and we ask questions, or we ask questions in other mines when we open. If we are not satisfied with something, we go back and ask for more questions. Until we receive the satisfactory questions, things are not approved.
And would the
Well, Minister, this is the last question from the panel. What we'd like to say is operations at Ranger Uranium Mine are demonstrating that mine management plans and environmental impact assessments actually do not effectively control radioactive leaks, spills and other pollution. So nearly everything that you have said today is really saying that those processes are, foolproof and that they'll work for Alice Springs. But we say, given this, it is not appropriate to allow a company to invest in uranium exploration in the town water catchment area of a community like Alice Springs, and an informed community could never accept a uranium mine. Will the NT government agree to revoke the exploration licence?
Now, I'm glad you brought up the uranium Ranger, because first of all, uranium Ranger mine was established in late 70s. Second, about the leaching of radioactive waste, it was the same question I asked the Office of Supervising Scientist personally. Now, and his answer was, it is not radioactive material or liquids leaking to Magellan Creek. It's contained within the mining list of Ranger mining. It's actually, they can follow it because it contains salts, so they can actually detect it their own way around, and the Office of Supervising Scientist monitors the mine very, very closely. So, about radioactive, well, the Office of Supervising Scientist says it's not. About contaminating Magellan Creek, the Office of Supervising Scientist says no, it's contained in the mining list. Now, as I said to you before, exploration is undertaken very strictly, and exploration will be undertaken only if the mine management plan for the exploration is approved by the department, and unless the department is satisfied that whatever will happen and will not affect the environment or will not affect other issues in the area, the mine management plan will not be approved, and if it's not approved, there's no exploration.